to not miss them, I would imagine, because I get good feedback on these. Hi, everyone. I have everything together. All right, it's not quite 10 yet. I thought I'd log in early. It's amazing. You don't realize. Hi, Kate. You don't realize until you see yourself. Anyway, how's your Friday? How is your market? I'm going to get started at 10, so we just have a minute. So in the meantime, grab your drink. My drink of choice, Smart Water. I didn't have time for my usual shake. I'm so good. I start out every day with my shake saying, this is a day that I'm actually going to stick to a healthy diet. And then night comes. Anyway, hi Eileen, hi Lee, hi Amanda. Let's see what time it is. It is 10 a.m., so we will get started. Welcome, welcome. I hope that you had an amazing, amazing week so far. While we wait for others to join, just say hi. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me how your market is. Did the spring market hit soon? A week from today is March 1st. That's exciting to me. That excites me. If you know me, I don't like snow. I think it's pretty to look at. But when I was an agent, I did not. Hi, Bridget. I definitely did not see it as something cool. I saw it as a way to get in the way of me going around. Hi, Simone. To my appointments. So anyway, now I'm in Richmond, and there is not any snow there, and I'm very happy about it. By the way, if you're on Instagram, please follow us at Livy Girls is our handle, at Livy Girls, and I will follow you right back. Hi, Nicole. Thanks for joining us. And if you love podcasts, yay, because we have an amazing podcast called Livy Girl Radio. So you can find us on iTunes under the podcast app, Livy Girl Radio, and also on YouTube, Livy Girl TV. So subscribe so that you don't miss out on anything. And by the way, if you subscribe to our podcast at Livy Girl Radio on iTunes, then when we get to 100 subscribers, we're giving away 2 $100 Visa gift cards. So why not, right? All right, so we're going to talk today about how not to fail. And I have my notes. Hi, Rini and Chrissy and Alina. I have my notes because what I share is, yes, from my heart and from my experience. Hi, Brianna. But I don't want to forget anything. So in these 20 minutes or so that we're together, I want to make sure that I give you useful meat. And that's what I always say, meat. And speaking of meat, if you have heard about the She's Unstoppable Live conference, I'm going to tell you that is meat. We had a speaker meeting about a month ago, and we told them that there's no selling from stage and that we need meat. We need them to share useful information and tips and insider strategies that we've never heard of, or that has uniquely enabled them to build their team to big success if they have a team. If you know Chip and Joanna Gaines, one of their agents has an all-girl team that is a powerhouse team. She's one of our speakers, and she's also on the Powerhouse panel with her 8-lady team. So if you are invested in your business, you really need to register for the She's Unstoppable Live conference, and you do so by going to she'sunstoppablelive.com. If you like cocktails, pink carpet, dancing, laughing, learning, shopping, no drama, time away to refresh, bling, pink, door prizes that you actually want, awards, TV stars, champagne, mastermind, breakout sessions. If 2 days away for you sounds amazing, go to She's Unstoppable Live. And later I'm going to give you a code that you can use to get in for lower than the regular price. All right, so let's get to how not to fail. How to avoid the top 5 mistakes that agents make. And since I've been an agent and for many, many years, well over a decade, and then coaching hundreds of women, I think I've seen it all in terms of why agents fail. And the beautiful thing about that is that even if as of where you are right now in your business, you're not excited about where you are, meaning that you know that you can do better, the good news is that it's never too late to restart. So I'm excited to share that fact with you, okay? All right, so the number one mistake that agents make is fear. And I'm especially talking to women, okay? Because that's who I specialize in, right? It's fear. Fear has us in a state of inaction. And the funny thing is when we got our license, we were scared, right? In those classes, we had to learn all these laws. And you don't want to have an ethics review, right? And you don't want to have a client, sue you. And it's like, wait, gosh, this is getting serious really fast, right? And then you join a brokerage, and the broker is responsible for what you do, okay? When you're under a broker, that broker is responsible, legally responsible for what you do, okay? And so then the broker wants to scare the heck out of you. It's just insane. You're scared to open your mouth, right? But it could be that that doesn't scare you, that instead what you're afraid of is, well, I don't have the right car to show up to that listing appointment. Or I only closed 2 deals in the last year, or I only closed 10 deals. I have a client who closed 25 deals last year, and she still has fear. And her goal is to close 40 deals this year, and she's going to do it because we're working through her fear. Fear is nothing to be... Failure is the biggest fear that agents have, especially women. We don't want to fail. We don't want to fail as a mom. We don't want to fail as a daughter, a sister. We just don't want to fail for our clients, right? We don't want to, if we get that listing, we're so excited to get the listing, and then we're like, oh my gosh, what if it doesn't sell? We have all this fear of failure. And what I've come to learn is that fear is a feeling. And we're not supposed to live our life based on our feelings. We should live our lives based on what we know. And here's what we know about fear of failure in particular. Those who fail, whether it's real failure or perceived failure, right? Because it's perception always plays a matter in this. If you learn from it, if you say, okay, phew, that was pure hell, I'm never going to let that happen again, and you learn from it, then great, bring the failure on as fast as possible so that I can get through it and keep going. I read a book probably 8 years ago now called Fail Forward, and that's where I learned this to actually love fear, meaning I'm not afraid of love failure. I apologize. Love failure. Not that I want it, but I'm not going to not take action for fear of failure because, hey, if I fail, then I'm going to learn from it. And then I'm going to take that forward and it'll never happen again. Okay? So fear is a feeling that many times is your perception and sometimes misperception. So the number one mistake that agents make is letting fear keep them in inaction, or keep them from making that phone call, or walking up to that builder at a networking event, or walking up to that force to be reckoned with in your local community who you've admired, but you are fearful. You don't want to step up there. And ladies, what that happens is then you're missing huge opportunity. So when I was putting together this She's Unstoppable Live conference, Judy and I, my twin sister and I, decided we wanted Dottie Herman. We wanted a woman who was an icon in the industry, who went from rags to riches, who was a player, who won a lot of awards, is known in the industry. And when we reached out to Dottie Herman, crickets, right? Of course. But then we kept going. And if you saw the podcast, I think that went out yesterday, It's also on our YouTube channel. She said, I am excited to present my heart and an industry, where the industry is going to. She's CEO of Douglas Elliman. She knows what's going on. She said, I am excited to share for your hundreds of attendees because you stood out. Because we sent her flowers. We sent her handwritten notes. We sent her videos. Hey Dottie, blah, blah, blah. So ladies, you'll see as we get into this, fear, there's nothing to fear. And there's nothing to fear but fear itself, really. And Rini says fear also feeds procrastination. That's right. Inaction, procrastination. Stop. Next time you're afraid, give me a text, okay? 540-931-5050. And just say, I'm fearing X. And as long as I'm not on a coaching call or it's going live like this, I will respond to you. Because when you have help with someone saying no, just say no to fear. Just do it. What do you want to do and what are you afraid of? No, just do it. Okay, that's how you get through it. Okay? Everything you want is on the other side of fear. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. The number 2 mistake that agents make, confusing excellent customer service with being a doormat. Okay, now I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you have that client who says, okay, and what I want to do is I want to see this house and then this house, and then I want to go over here, and I'm not going to come to your office first, and I'm going to do this, and these are the terms, and this, and this, and this, and they just boss you around. And somehow, agents who fail somehow think that that's customer service, that I must succumb to whatever they are telling me that I must do. And that, ladies, is just not true. You are the professional. I always like to equate it to doctors and lawyers. If you were in legal trouble, for example, and you went to a lawyer, aren't you going to the lawyer because you need their expertise, her or his expertise? And so would you have the audacity to sit there and tell him or her how you want this lawsuit to go or about how to do their job? No. If you had an oncologist in front of you and you had a cancer diagnosis, wouldn't you sit back and want to hear what they have to say and then make your decision? Because it's your body, of course, but you're going to heed their advice. Similarly, you're the professional. So ladies, that's why I always say that I have a routine to work with buyers and a routine to work with sellers that positioned me as the expert. And you have to lay that out right away. And so in my coaching, I share how to do that because it's certainly not a Gestapo evil way of doing it, right? It's a very competent, professional, relatable, and all of that. But you run the show. So let me tell you this. If you allow them to run the show, you're in for a heck of a transaction. And you may or may not ever get to the closing table, and this client will monopolize and take over and get in the way of you working with other clients. But that's not for this discussion. But here's what I want to say. I had one of my clients yesterday tell me that she got this amazing listing from a past client, and she listed the home. And you know how we're always talking about how we want the listing description to be different, make it stand out and appeal to who you think that buyer profile is, right? And so she wrote, if you're looking for a fixer-upper, this is not it, because it's exquisite and beautiful. And she said something about the Chip and Joanna Gaines or something, right? It was very cute, and I was very proud of her for that. Well, she sent it to, she didn't send it, she just listed the property. And then once it was listed, she sent the seller the listing and said, yay, we're in the we're in the MLS. Let the fun begin. And within 5 minutes, that client called and said, oh, you can't say this is not a fixer-upper. Please remove that. And I want you to say that it's a colonial, charming, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, so many square feet. We got a new deck, and ho-hum, boring, okay? And she also said, and because we have snow on the ground, I'm sending you pictures that I want them to see how pretty the gardens are and things like that. How many of us has had that? Really, if you've had that, just give me some like. Give me a like. I mean, let me tell you something, ladies. We've all had clients like that, right? And so I said, what did you do? She said, well, I immediately changed the wording. And I said, no problem. Absolutely. Send me the picture. I'll add it. But ladies, that's very an easy way to alleviate that, or at least to kind of get in the mind of that client who is trying to push us around, is to say, oh, that's interesting. Can I ask why? Because I learned, because the first couple times I did that too. And after a while, I'm like, really? You didn't like that wording? Why is that? Or, and just always ask why. Sometimes I'd have clients with listings that said, and as soon as you get the pictures, can you send me the link to all the pictures? Stupidly, the first time I had that request, I did. And it was pure hell. After that, I said, well, you know what? It's not customary for me to do that. And by the way, you hired me because I'm a great marketer and my houses get under contract quickly. So why don't we do this? Trust me. And then let's see how it goes for a week or two, 10 to 14 days. And then if action's not taking place the way I know that it will, then let's come back to that. Boom, okay? So number 2, don't confuse excellent customer service with being a doormat. Number 3, the wrong perspective of your business. Wrong perspective of your business. So is this real estate for you a career or is it a hobby? Do you consider yourself a self-employed person or an entrepreneur? These things are very different. And I shared with you that the definition of an entrepreneur, and I keep saying this, if you watch me on live, because it's a very important distinction. Because the people who fail as an agent do so because they're probably not fully committed and they don't understand the definition difference between being self-employed and having a career and being an entrepreneur, okay? So the definition of an entrepreneur is a person who operates a business and takes more than average risk to do so. So I ask you right now, if you're on this call, if you're on this live feed, and if you're watching it, how often do you take risk with your business? And do you do so on a regular basis? Now, I'm not talking about when someone calls you and wants you to do this widget, you do that. And then this one says they want you to do this widget and you do that. Next thing you know, you're not working on your business. You're just fielding calls from salespeople who, because you're an agent, you have your number everywhere, you constantly get these calls. I'm not talking about that. But are you investing in your business? There's 2 ways to invest in your business. If you're an entrepreneur, you invest your time by deciding where you're going to put yourself, by deciding what you're going to work on during business hours versus weekends and how many hours a week you're going to work and things like that. And the other one is money, okay? So if you decide to be a Zillow agent, a Zillow Premier agent, and you look at the monthly amount and it makes you gulp, okay, it probably does for everyone, but are you committed to making the conversion to make that ROI better? An entrepreneur is. A hobbyist or someone who just wanted to leave the 9-to-5 to try their hand at being a business owner may not. Okay, so it's a risk reward, and you can't have the wrong perspective, ladies, about being in business. All right, number 4, mistake that agents make that you want to avoid is not being strategic. This one's super important. So let me clear my throat. I don't know why every morning I have this frog in my throat. I'm sorry. Do you just throw up social media because somebody told you needed to? Do you go to this networking event 1 month and then next month you'll try another one and the next month you'll try something else and, willy-nilly? Try this, try that. Well, without a brand, that's what you do. What happens, ladies, is that many times brokers hit home that you must have their broker logo on your stuff and, rules, 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 rules. Oh my gosh. Someday, if we open up Livy Girl Brokerages, which is something I would love, love, love to do. Brokers giving rules ruins the creativity of an entrepreneur, which is what you're supposed to be. And instead, you need to look at your business as an entrepreneur, okay? That how do I want to position myself in my market? I've got to stand out, because in every market we have at least hundreds, if not thousands or tens of thousands of competitors. So we call that brand you, brand YOU. You start with who you are, what your favorite parts of real estate are. What parts of the job do you love? Do you want to focus on being a listing agent? I don't care if you never had a listing. If that's the part that you want to focus on, you can actually become a listing queen in your market. Or do you like working with buyers? Or do you, want to grow a team? What is your brand and what is your vision? Okay? And then once you establish how you're going to put yourself out there, meaning I'm going to be known as the agent who focuses on the 55 and older in my market. Or I'm going to put myself and be, my brand is going to be all about helping, the classy business women. When in my market, I wanted to help business women because that's who I was. That's who I wanted to hang out with. Okay. And I started a networking event in my market that was very lucrative for me. So you really have to think about what's your brand, what do you want to do, and then immerse yourself in that, be that brand everywhere, no matter where you are. Okay. The next thing is who do I want to help? Like I just shared with you that in my market, I really wanted to focus on helping business women. I related to them. It's who I was. And it just worked really well. I have clients who love gardens and they focus on the garden club and things like that. And I have a client who is into yoga and coffee. And so she immerses herself in her local community there in the yoga community and hangs out in the coffee shop, the local coffee shop. And it really is working well for her, okay? So who do you want to serve? I call them perfect clients. If you've had any closings in the past, what my clients do is we go through a perfect client questionnaire. And these are questions that tell you what your perfect clients like to watch, like to listen to, where they like to go, where they like to vacation, how they like to spend their weekends, how they decide where they're shopping, what their favorite brands are. It's way more than just your birthday. Oh, what's your birthday? Oh, great. If they have a family, what their dreams are. And my clients will actually choose 3 to 5 of their perfect clients and give them this questionnaire, whether it be in person or, in a lunch or a breakfast or via email, whatever. And then we look at their perfect clients and we try to come up with a persona. And that way, as you in your brand put yourself out there in marketing, you are going to be speaking to your perfect client to attract them, as opposed to speaking to everyone, in which case you're speaking to no one because you're going to blend in with everyone else, right? And then what happens next is you come up with your connection story. You know what your brand is. You know what you like to do. You know who you want to serve. Now, how are you going to connect to them? And that connection story is making yourself relatable to your ideal client, your perfect client. And then you insert that connection story into your killer bio. And your killer bio is what's on your Zillow profile, whether you're a Premier Agent or not, on your Realtor.com profile, your LinkedIn, wherever you are, on your website, okay? And see, there's a process. There's a strategy behind it. Number 4 reason that agents fail is having no strategy. And I guess what I want to say about that is if you don't know where you're going, you don't know who you're even going after, how are you going to stand out? We already know that there's a ton of agents competing for the same business you are. If you don't isolate yourself, make yourself stand out, then what do you expect? Number 5, top 5. Okay, I'm going over the top 5 mistakes, right? Agents make and how to avoid them. Is no routine. No routine. When I take a strategy call with someone, and I take probably, 10 to 20 strategy calls per week, I ask them, tell me your schedule. I know every day's different, but what time do you get up? Well, some days I get up here, and some days I get up here. Or if they have kids, they say, well, every day I'm up at 7 because I have to get my kids to the bus, and then I go to the gym, and then I come home and take a shower, and then I throw a load of wash in, and now it's 10 o'clock, and I'm ready to start work. Now, do you think, and for some people that might work. I'm not saying that it can't work, but is that what you think is a powerful morning routine for an entrepreneur? The agents that I knew when I was in the business, as an active agent, we would text each other at like 6, 7 a.m. We were ready to go. We got up, we had a morning routine. Because when you don't implement a routine for yourself through time blocking throughout the day, things don't get done, right? If it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. And I always tell my clients, let's get your calendar out for the next 3 months. And I want you to tell me when you're going on a date with your significant other. Put that on there. When are you going to do your grocery shopping? Do you do that or your other partner? If it's you, write it down. When are you going to do that? We get our personal stuff on the calendar first. And then we layer over our routine in the morning and how we want to facilitate our day. Okay? They're really daily success habits that successful entrepreneurs have. Kara Pierce now, she'll text me at all hours of the night. I mean, she pulls all-nighters. Now, I'm not a proponent of pulling all-nighters, although I've done that a few in my years, but it's about a focus. It's about a diligence. It's about success habits and routine, okay? If you don't know when you're going to start work every day and you don't have a plan for the day written down, by the end of the day I want to get these things done, then you're going to be led around by whatever happens in real time. Oh, you want to do lunch? Sure. Next thing you know, it's 2 o'clock and the kids will be home soon. I want to give you an example of having the right perspective as to anything that you're doing in your life, okay? So when my kids were small, I hated laundry. I don't know why. I mean, now I love laundry. At the age of 53, I love laundry. I don't know why, but I just love it. But when I was 30 something, I hated it. And I was in a Bible study, and this elder lady, I said, I don't know what we were talking about. And she said, well, Jan, there's a lot of women that don't have children. And there's a lot of women that aren't married. And they would love to be able to do somebody's wash. And so you really need to be thankful that you have somebody's wash to do, laundry to do. And it really changed my perspective. Another one is this. Instead of saying, like when you get up, oh my gosh, I have to do this and I have to do that. Well, instead of that, what's his hair doing? Instead of that, you say, today I get to do this. Today I get to put that listing in. Today I get to go on that listing appointment. Today I get to go to closing. We all love those days. But think about some aspect of being a real estate agent that you don't like. And switching your mind. Today I get to prospect, which my clients call connecting. And it's not about door knocking and phone calls, by the way. But anyway, okay, change your perspective. So again, the 5 mistakes you will not make, right? We're going over these. Are you committed to this being your day one? That you now know what the top 5 mistakes are with agents and you're not going to make them. You'll commit to make sure you don't get caught up in these mistakes. So number 1, fear, right? You're going to text me. I don't care if I get 500 texts every day. I hate fear. I don't like it. I want to help you fight against it. Okay, so text me when you're feeling fear. Let's get you through it. Take action in the midst of fear. That's the only way to get through it. Number 2, confusing excellent customer service with being a doormat. Absolutely not, right? We're not going to assume anything. We're going to ask questions. We're going to say, can you please clarify that? What do you mean by that? Or, that's interesting. Why are you asking me to do that? I just want to make sure I understand. You're not putting them in a defensive posture. Absolutely not. You are just a professional, and you are going to find out where they're coming from before you just say, yes, I'll do anything you want. Okay, number 3, wrong perspective of your business. Okay, and if this is your hobby and you don't really care how much you make and you don't have really any dreams for real estate, you just got your license, then great. Then that's fine. But if this is a career for you and you want to embrace the fullness of being an entrepreneur, then you're going to have to make some risks in time and or money, probably both. Okay? So do you have the right perspective as an entrepreneur? And then number 4, no strategy. You're going to have strategy. If you need a strategy session with me, text me, the 540-931-5050. Let's get you on a strategy session. And from now on, you are going to, actually, let's say it this way. You can make a fresh start. If up till now you don't have a brand, you don't have a logo, you don't, even if you're on a team, yes, you have to use the team's logo, but you can be who you are. You can present yourself how you are, right? You can present yourself how you want to be presented. Obviously, check with your team leader, but I had a team, and I had team members, and I was happy that they chose to put themselves out there in their personality to be authentic, which is very important, right? So we need to get a strategy, brand you, and then who do you want to serve? We call them perfect clients. And then getting your connection story, your killer bio, and then getting your online and your in-community marketing plan together, all around your brand. So important. And then 5, no routine. No routine. You're just flying by the seat of your pants. No routine at all. You need structure and a commitment to excellence, which is really what we call taking imperfect action. Taking imperfect action. So, because you're watching this, right now it is 10:31, and I do have to go. But if you have not already registered for She's Unstoppable Live, for the next 15 minutes, you can register for $199, which is $50 off the regular price, using promotional code REF for referral, REF 199. That will end at 10:45 or 10:46, okay? So if you want to get in to she'sunstoppable.live.com or She's Unstoppable Live Conference, go to she'sunstoppable.live.com and go ahead, take the action. There's no fear. We have people coming from Canada, Texas, Nevada, California, Washington State, Florida, and pretty much everywhere. So take action right now and register. If you have any questions, you got my text, you got my phone number, all right? Let's take action today. Let's move forward knowing that you can be very, very successful. All right? Talk to you later. Bye-bye.